informed, and we definitely got to start really, really understanding policies. And a number one main thing I would definitely want us to do is start being aware of what is happening. And you got to be able to see that through the eyes of politics. We got to be able to look at the policies, the effect of them. Now, one of the, like I was talking about earlier with Joe Biden, he got FEMA going to the borders to help bring these immigrants in. We got almost 8 million unemployed ADOS men. And we got a lot of unemployment across the country altogether. To me, the number one thing that got to be answered tonight is do you know the effect of immigration? What it's going to have on you, your family, your kids? Understand that immigration, once again, ADOS ain't against immigration. We're against the effect of immigration. And that's the effect is where the ADOS family get hit at by these policies. Now, we understand they bringing them in. We understand the effect of immigration. The more immigrants come in the country, the more ADOS men lose jobs, the more ADOS men go to prison, and so on with the ADOS woman. Now, in a country where you have this system that is turning ADOS woman against ADOS man, ADOS man against ADOS woman, when we both are being treated the same, nothing different. No different if we go back to slavery. If we go back to slavery, the ADOS woman got beat, no different than the ADOS man got beat. The ADOS woman got hung, the ADOS man got hung. Now we have been tricked into believing that somehow the battle is within race, within our lineage. If white supremacy has the power to trick us to believe that the fight is within race, within our lineage, we are done. If we can't sit down and understand that the ADOS man and the ADOS woman is still dealing with the exact same thing than we've been dealing with. It ain't no different. It's never been, gender has never played a role in it. Never. It was never about gender in the beginning. But if they could trick us to believe that it is, and they doing it. I'm listening to a lot of articles, looking at a lot of programming with women, and men are saying things that don't in line. And a lot of it is it's an emotional speech. The data don't support none of it. I read an article the other day. The article stated that the Hispanic woman, because the article was basically touching on saying that men make more money than women. Now understand, when they said that, they never showed the income of men. They said it and showed the income of women, the different groups of women. Hispanic women made 55 cents on the dollar. Black women made 63 cents on the dollar. White women made 81 cents on the dollar. Now, even by looking at the chart among women, look like me, women should be looking at white women saying, hold up, you might have high on the total pole though. Now, if we just took that chart, and didn't even put up the men, what different the Hispanic man, the ADOS man, and the white man made on that chart. The reason they couldn't put up that chart, because at the end of the day, the ADOS man make less than any of them. If you count the imprisoned ADOS men, 51 cents on the dollar is what the ADOS man make. 51 cents. That means the ADOS man is so economically, socially collapsed. Yet you show a chart saying men. You grouped all men in the same circle And another thing that debunks this whole discussion is that the rate that white people marry at. So the rate that white people marry at are at almost 75-80% rate. They marry. So that means if we don't even talk about inheritance, because I'm going to talk about inheritance, but right now we're going to talk about income because it's a different subject. We're going to put them together though. At the rate they marry, that means the white household is already making $1.81. $1.81. That's what the white household is making. Yet the ADOS household marry at about a 40-45% rate. That means most ADOS women and ADOS men, their household is making 63 cents on the dollar or 51 cents. So when you look at it that way, you understand very clearly it is not no way to separate the white woman from the white man. It's no way to separate the white man from the white woman. They are one. And if anybody can argue with the data, just know it's an emotional person trying to defend white supremacy instead of looking at the data and saying, wait a minute, the data, this don't hold true in the data. If it don't hold true in the data, why are we having this discussion about gender? So we must know, we must get better at seeing through these things. And while we struggle with gender within our group, we got Joe Biden opening up the floodgate. That leads me right into Joe Biden opening up the floodgates to this what gonna be hindering us. Because as I said before, immigration is a direct impact on ADOS families. Our kids will have to compete with them when it comes to schooling. They're going to have to compete with them because of DACA. Now understand, DACA is a government program that gives them things that your kids will not receive. Your kids will not receive it. So if your kid is not going to receive it, your kids depending on your income to get them through college, while an immigrant child got the government backing them. Now, I mean, this is very common sense. Your income ain't going to be what the government is. You ain't never going to be as stable as the government going to be. That means there's going to be plenty of money there for them. For them. We must understand, with this happening, it will also hinder us, our kids, our nieces, our nephews, when we think it's time to go to college. When it's time to go to college, because it's going to be more immigrants going into college, and now we're going to be being pushed out of college, which that's already happening, been happening. So it's going to get even worse. You got them at the border. They come in here. Understand, all Americans is already unemployed. We can guarantee that out of all the Americans unemployed, the biggest numbers of the Americans unemployed are going to be ADOS. So when you bring in, Joe Biden has said out of his own mouth, we bringing in a new workforce. A new workforce. How about hire ADOS people first? Get us hired. We got homeless. ADOS is 51. ADOS families are 51% of the homeless. How bad do you think it's finna get if he bringing in a whole new workforce and they ain't even gonna work us now? How long before that number jumps to 70%, 80%? How long before already is more ADOS men in prison than all race of women in the world? How long before that number starts to even triple? before we wake up and realize we must fight for our group on all levels. This has never been about gender. It still is not about gender. It's about lineage. History shows us that. The data shows us that. Policies show us that. If all these things align, in the chat, somebody just put in the chat, the discrimination will continue because we are at the bottom collectively, and no one else wants to be here. So, with that being said, the chat is right. Everyone is aligning for us to be at the bottom. Everyone is aligning with that. No one is disagreeing. They bringing these immigrants in, and they are in agreement. ADOS group, we will help you keep them at the bottom. So are we gonna be on this ship and keep it afloat as a group, as a collective, or are we willing to watch it sink as a collective? Because I'm promising you, when it goes down, we go down with it. Hands down. There's no denying it. History done showed us. We go down together. Either we rise together or we fall together. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, the other night I made a statement. I understand this fight is rough. I had someone the other day and made a statement. They said Breonna Taylor. And it was hashtag say her name. Understand, much respect to Breonna Taylor family. Hey, I hate to see any of us, any ADOS people die from the injustice acts of white supremacy. Always have, always will. But Breonna Taylor won't the first. George Floyd won't the first. And when we get people within our group again, that's only paying recognition to Breonna Taylor, but ain't talking about George Floyd, Nat Turner, MLK, Malcolm X, and the list goes on and on. As I always say, what about the ones that didn't make the headline news? The ones that you don't even know their names, that was murdered, killed, hung, lynched in the swamp woods. What about them? And I told this hashtag say her name person, I told them simply, say all their names. The three little girls that got burned up in the church bombing. See, Nate Turner, MLK, Malcolm, all of the Emmett Till, say their names. If you want to say hashtag say Breonna Taylor name, if you saying it's about Breonna Taylor, that means you telling me you done forgot about them and you eventually will forget about Breonna Taylor. But you want to make yourself feel good. You want to try to sell us on symbolism, sympathy, want to make us think you're aware of what's going on around you. Truth be told, you're not aware of what's going on around you. It sounds good. It sounds good to say. Sounds real good to say hashtag say Breonna, say her name. Sounds good. But right after you write that down, you back doing whatever you were doing before. Going out to eat, having a good time. But it's people like me that's still standing in the trenches, trying to make a difference, trying to be a policy changer. But I can't get you in line to fight with me. You rather fight against me. And what you tell me when you fight against me is, I'm negative. I get this a lot. I'm negative. Well, to fix a problem, you got to be able to see a problem. As I've said tonight, even a dog will smell the kool-aid before drinking it. Can I teach my people to do the same? Because understand, it no matter how long the owner owned the dog, whenever he gives him something, he takes the first couple seconds to sniff it. Why? Because even the dog trusts his nose more than he do you. See, within our group, it's hard to get our people to wrap their mind around that because they so comfortable with trusting white supremacy. Matter of fact, they trust it more than anything. While even in the midst of saying they don't. But if you pay attention to their actions, they do. They do trust it. They're going to believe in it before me because one of me and Adolph's members was just speaking and we was talking about the powerful influence that the media has over our people. And we fight, what we fight against is their powerful platforms from the movies you watch, from the news you choose to watch, from the things you choose to believe because they can circle that information a lot more than we can circle this truth. You know, it's when they can circle their manipulation constantly, eventually it takes over the unconscious mind. And you find people regurgitating things that they just heard from a news feed. Even while trying to convince you, oh, I understand what's going on. If you understood what's going on when I say Joe Biden is bringing in your replacement, you will understand the severity of how you need to get in line to stop it. To say, I need policies in place that protect me and my family, my brothers and sisters, even the ones I don't know by name. Even the ones I don't know by name. See, I'm looking in the chat and I see gender is and never has been an escape hatch for black people. This is so true. It's never been. Adam says hashtag activist is not a black policy. That's it's symbolism. Adam is spot on. He's spot. Understand, it ain't policies. It's never been. It's just a symbolism to make yourself feel like you just made change. No, change come from blood, sweat, and tears. And a lot of nights staying up late at night thinking about your next strategy to try to make something happen. That's the truth. That's the truth. We must understand this. If we're going to fix this, it's going to take more than hashtags. It's going to take more than telling yourself that I said it and the work was did because I said it. That ain't doing anything. It means nothing. You just as well go back to what you were doing before. Because if you think you done something because you said it, and the next minute you sitting somewhere doing whatever you want, like life went back to normal. You really don't understand what's going on. You don't understand what's done happened. So if you don't understand what's done happened, how you gonna make any changes? I was talking to a group the other night, and they wanted to use a picture as their web page. Of course, they was going for symbolism. They wanted a nice, beautiful picture. And I made the suggestion, no. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. What we need to do is this. Let's show the people that we're supposed to be fighting for. Let's show their lives. Let's go to these projects, to these based upon your income homes, and look at and take pictures of how these people live. Let's go down to in front of that corner store where they sitting out their own buckets. Let's take pictures of that. See, didn't nobody want to take no pictures of that. They wanted symbolism. They wanted words that use words that meant powerful things with no powerful action backing it up. See, me, I don't want that. I want real change that not only I can feel, but that you can feel, that you can see, that can be passed to your kids. And that's reparations on the black agenda. And no matter what space you in, That's what you should be pushing for. Hands down. Hands down. Cause understand. We sit here, we see this chart here. This chart is telling us something all the time. This chart is exposing what we have been hit with. And understand, one person can't fix it. If you see this chart, you see what whites are at on this chart. They're at the top. You see where we are at. Even the Hispanic, they bringing them in. They bringing them in. They're bringing in the Hispanics. They are above us in this chart right now. They are starting to spike up. We are beneath them. That's in 2016. This ain't my data. This ain't my data. People saying you being negative. You gonna kill people's motivation. Well, if your motivation is symbolism, I hope I kill it. If your motivation is symbolism, I hope I kill it. See, because this chart is showing symbolism ain't gonna fix it. Never have, never will. Now, we got to pay attention to this chart because you see it, 1989. 1989. Look at where that wealth was. Now, this wealth that whites have is shot away. Gone. We still right down here flatlining. Every now, right now, 1980 got a little post, went right back to killing us. Wealth-wise. So this chart is telling you what we've been stressing to you forever. That we was locked out of wealth. Listen. What we got to come to terms with is that we was locked out of this wealth. That's what we've been locked out of. It won't anything else. This is what it was. We must be able to see it. Do something about it. And I think my intro went again. Sorry. My intro went again, but anyway, mistake. I clicked the wrong button. Sorry about my intro went again, but yeah. That chart shows us. It shows us what is really happening. And symbolism ain't gonna fix it. Trying to say you want to be around good vibes ain't gonna fix it. Because good vibes just mean you refuse to see the truth. I mean, listen, if you're in a mud hole, you're in a mud hole. What you gonna tell yourself? You're in a whirlpool? Ooh, this nice and warm. But you're in a mud hole. In order to get out the mud hole, you can't lay there and fantasize about it being a whirlpool at a 5-star hotel. Listen, if we're going to keep doing that, you can't fix it. Because what you basically doing is saying, hey, if I think it, if I speak it, I can make it true. We say things like, hey, I can speak it in existence. I can speak it in existence. When the truth is, when it comes to reality, nothing works like that. So look, if nothing works like that, how can we tell ourselves that we can speak it in existence? But nothing works like that. Nothing. Everything, every change that done came before us, every change that will come after us, has been done from blood, sweat, and tears. Blood, sweat, and tears. So you can turn a blind eye. Just tell me you're going to turn a blind eye. Don't, listen, I'd rather for you not to even speak on it if you ain't going to be about it. I'd rather you don't even speak on it if you're not going to be about it. Period. Understand that a lot of us help protect white supremacy, while at the same time not understand we doing it. What I mean when I say we help protect white supremacy. Understand, right? We are struggling. Yet when it comes to the newest shoes, the latest gear, we got it. We got it. We wearing it. We putting it on. We flossing. While at the same time, the lights might be out at the house. But can't nobody see that. Can't nobody see my lights out at the house. But they can see the way I'm dressed right now out in the public. I remember a time, and it's in my background, the sharecroppers, when they wasn't getting paid. When them sharecroppers wasn't getting paid, understand what they did do. They went, they moved, they got out of those shacks. They went and put all their families on the side of the road and shamed those white farmers that wasn't paying them. You think some people are telling me that this generation is smarter than they was? I beg to differ. Because they knew how to get people attention. We got ADOS people working at NBC, at the news, and they ain't even getting paid, but they dressing up to look a certain way to cover for white supremacy that ain't paying them. You think about what I'm telling you. They're going to work a job that they ain't getting paid. They dressing up looking real good to sell you on success. If we're not able to connect the dots on that, that's a problem. Why would you do that? Why don't expose these people? Understand, we seeing this constantly all the time. I'm gonna go back to the chat and read some of the things in the comment. It says, for some people, Facebook fronting and Bible bumping are better than fighting for reparation. Man, that's fire right there. Cause right in Rocky Mount, one of the biggest problems going on in Rocky Mount right now. And I hope I can get Leroy to call in and speak to some of this when I do the call-ins. I'm gonna have a little call-in. I hope I can get Leroy, because that's one of the Rocky Mount ADOS. Leroy, one of the part of the Rocky Mount ADOS down there. I'm hoping I can get him to call in and speak to some of this, because right in Rocky Mount right now, down in Rocky Mount, they got pastors running it all. They the president. Andre Knight is the president of the NAWCP. He's set on the commissioner seats. He's ran 3 or 4 hats, like a lot of the pastors. A lot of the pastors over the churches are running all OIC. Now, we got to understand, OIC down in Rocky Mount is making money off of ADOS people being starved out. OIC in I repeat again, OIC in Rocky Mount is making money off of black ADOS people being starved out. Now, for new people here, ADOS means American Descendant of Slavery. I know some of you don't want to call yourself a slave. You don't want to call yourself a slave because you think I'm way better than a slave. What you talking about? I'm a slave. Well, let me know when you got the power to change who your mom and daddy was, who your grandmama and granddaddy was. Let me know when you got that power, because the last time I checked, you don't possess that power. That's a reality check. My daddy was a sharecropper, nothing shame about it. He was forced to quit school in the 2nd grade, never learning how to read and write. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. Because that's my fighting power. When I think about it, that's what makes me keep pushing. See, when I think about my granddaddy back, you see what these people did to him. Both my granddaddies on my mama's side too. Yeah. Understand, my daddy quit school in the 2nd grade. My mama was forced to quit in the 7th grade because of the same exact thing. Sharecropping. Sharecropping. See, now we stand here saying, oh, your mama problem was your daddy. But history tells another story. History said white supremacy didn't care about ADOS woman or ADOS man. We need them over here sharecropping and understand sharecropping is nothing but another name for slavery. Another name for slavery. We must come to the realization that gender never played a role. And anybody trying to trick you and saying it is, you should definitely be looking at them with a critical side eye, because they probably got something for themselves. Because, of course, that's another problem in our group. A lot of do-for-selfers. You get a lot of pushback from a lot of do-for-selfers. They tell you real quick, I'm not concerned with what's going on with him, because I got me a house. I got me this. See, and I say this a lot, we have, as ADOS people in this country, have been forced to look at things with upside down glasses and make it normal. Being forced to look at things with upside down glasses and make it normal. Make it normal. That's the truth. Nobody wants to admit to. That's part of our mental problem. That's why I was determined to start attacking this mental state. Attacking our religion way of thinking. We look at politics through the eyes of religion, yet they don't even go together. They don't even go together. When it comes to fixing problems in the community, people to get out of the work, what they do, they use the Bible. Oh, nobody ain't stronger than Jesus. He fights my battles. Yet the data, history, our lineage, policies, all prove you're losing the battle. You're losing the battle. And in order to win the battle, you're going to have to get up off your knees, stand on your 2 feet, and find out why you're losing it and do something about it. Now, ADOS is here to tell you how you're losing it and why you're losing it. I've listened to plenty of people tell me in plenty of meetings how long they've been doing fight for their people. And you know what I find strange? When they try to use this longevity in a discussion, and they use it in a way as if it's a good thing. I've been told I've been fighting for my people for 45 years, longer than you've been alive, young man. I say, yeah, that's a long time. I say, but it's not a good thing, because we only went backwards. And now I'm at the table saying we must start to think in a different way. Point blank. We must start to think in a different way. And our thinking got to be around what the data is telling us, what history is telling us, who we are. We definitely got to know who we are, because lineage matter. Pigment and skin don't matter. Pigment in your skin do not matter. Get that out of your head. That's old news. It's about lived experience. And that's your lineage. That's what ties people together, that lived experience. That's why I can leave Winston-Salem right now and go to New York and see another ADOS man and automatically say, what up, bro? And we can have a full-blown discussion like we've been knowing each other since we was kids. Because his lived experience and mine has been the same. Because, as Malcolm put it before, you got the fox, you got the wolf, both still part of the dog family. No difference. We we must move forward. We must change the way we've been thinking, and we must do it through our history. Things that bring forth the facts. When we sit in these rooms, in these spaces, we must not be uncomfortable ourselves while allowing other people to be comfortable. I make it my business in every conversation to make them very uncomfortable. Even my own people. Sometimes they get mad at me. Sometimes they want to block me on their page. Don't get back on my page. I'm going to block you. Because you hurt their feelings when you don't let them sell their symbolism. I refuse to let you sell your symbolism. We're dealing with too much. It's too many dead bodies. It's too many males, ADOS men in prison. So I can't let it happen. I can't sit back and watch it no longer. I must get in this fight 10 toes down and push forward. And I understand right within this fight, sometimes this fight is right in-house in our home. It's people part of ADOS. We moving, we trying, we doing everything we can to move this line. And sometimes even within the family structure, you catch it. Because even though loved ones may say, yeah, I love what you're fighting for, but it's too much. I got to hear it too much. I got to deal with it too much. I even find myself at times looking at things that my kids are wearing and not liking it. I'm not liking it because it feels the same way again. That I'm watching the same thing that happened to me. I'm doing it to them by selling them on this white supremacy, the cartoons. And people say, let them be a kid. I say they're going to be a grown-up long as they be a kid. See, in history, the truth is you prepare kids to survive. That's the truth. We used to prepare our kids to survive. Now we are handicapping them, but at the end of the handicapping we're doing, we'll say, I hope you can survive. You can't do it that way. See, the surviving technique starts when they, in the first years of their life, right up until they start taking off into college. You got to start teaching them. Understand the childhood lasts 15 years at the longest. And then they start taking on responsibilities. So it's short-lived being a child. It's a very short-lived thing, and you need to understand that child that you say let them be a child is going to be an adult a lot longer. So you need to be teaching them still to survive. We feel that it's something new under the sun. This generation is different. Understand you was a child too. And people thought your generation was different. But now you stand right in the very shoes of the people that said your generation was different. But you find yourself feeling just like they did. Ain't that something? Won't very different in the first place. See, understand that technology has added a piece into the puzzle that wasn't there before. But also the piece that it added ain't all good. It is not all good. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, it ain't all good, because this technology has also dumbed down our kids. Meaning, to build memory, you got to practice building memory. So, listen, it was a time people they even wrote down a telephone number or they memorized it. When you memorize things, once again, it builds memory. Doctors, everybody tell you, that's how you strengthen the mind. Most of our kids right now, when it comes to them learning, they ain't really learning. They reciting because of technology. We have done it to ourselves. if you ask a 17-year-old, if you take it as a 17-year-old right now, you ask them, hey, what's your mama number? Oh, let me look at my, no. Don't look in your phone. Don't look in your phone. Tell me her number without looking in your phone. I bet you they can't do it. I bet you they can't do it. Yet we telling them that they are smart. Because they can get on a computer, they can type in something, search something, download something, and that's it. But the memory is gone. Now understand what I'm trying to get you to see is the cause and effect. I told a man the other day, the law of physics, this is the law of physics. The law of physics is you can't have a cause without an effect. Because a gentleman 74 years old tried to tell me, well, what I'm going to talk about right now, though, is the cause. And I said, sir, I got to stop you. I got to stop you because what you're attempting to do can't even be done. He said, what you mean it can't be done? I said, what you're attempting to do is break the law of physics. The law of physics states that you can't have one without the other. That's cause and effect. You just can't talk about the cause. You got to talk about the effect. Just can't talk about the effect without talking about the cause. Now understand that 74-year-old man didn't understand that until I explained it to him. And then he said, yeah, I guess you're right. So understand, let's go back to the child. Now we go back to the child that's being dumbed down. When I got my GED, you had to score at least a 225. Then they got the GED, you only got to score 145. See, the dumbing down of society is happening right before our eyes. Yet, we're not speaking on it neither. Understand, white supremacy use a lot of weapons. These weapons is no different than launching a missile at you. Same thing. Just a soft effect though. See, the missile, you see the body scatter. When they start attacking your mental though, it's a soft effect. It's very slow, not too gradual, just a little. Matter of fact, most of society will see it as a good thing. That's another powerful thing about white supremacy. Most of society will see it as a good thing. So understand, if now you can make a 145 and you used to have to make a 225, that means you don't have to know as much. The next thing you need to know, when you got a society of people that says, hey, they legalizing weed. They legalizing weed. Man, I'm glad. Hey, they cool. He cool because he legalizing weed. Yet the very job you work on can still fire you from finding the substance in your system. Now, think about what we are telling ourselves. Yet, it ain't legal on your job still. Even if they legalize weed, it ain't legal on your job still. You still can be fired from finding it in your system. Yet, we got people running around thinking legalizing weed is a good thing. How many ADOS people will lose jobs behind legalized weed? How often do you think the weed, the drug test, the P test at your job will be done when weed becomes legalized? See, a dumbing down of society is once again another strategy to make you not focus on what's important. If I got you worried about weed being legalized, that's all you care about. If I got you worried, just focus on the dumbest things of society, how will you ever join in the fight? The real fight that we got in front of us. You won't do it. You won't. They know that. Listen, the strategy to white supremacy is to keep the numbers down in the real fight. Like it or not, that's the strategy. Keep the numbers down in the real fight. Make them focus on everything but the real fight. Make parents be afraid to push their kids to understand the real fight. While you scared to push your child to understand the real fight, the school system, The school system where you sending them at is making them fall in line with the manipulation of the fight. You know why? Because understand to pass a test, you got to recite that Christopher Columbus discovered America. If you say he didn't discover it, you fail the test. So when I started this conversation, I said we getting hammered, that our people are being manipulated at a lot of places. Our kids are too. So out of all these battles we taking, out of white supremacy controlling the thinking, the education of it all, how many people you think in the next 20 years gonna be sounding like me? If you sound like me in the next 20 years, they'll say you speak hatred. You are negative. Truth will become a thing of the past, because you'll only be able to speak if you speak good vibes. Not if you speak truth. Not if you speak truth. We must sit down with our kids, educate them in this too. We must have real conversation with our kids, pushing back on the teachers in the school. Now, I talked to plenty of people that's talking about the education going on in that school system as they get pushed back from the teachers. How the teacher got basic and pick and choose who they let speak, who they don't. Understand within the midst of that school is immigrants that don't want to hear our story. Understand why immigrants only want to use our story but not hear our story. I repeat it. Understand why immigrants only want to use our story but not hear our story. Because when they use our story, they use it for themselves. But if I speak my story, I need to shut up. Understand, it ain't no different than playing spades. When I talk my truth trumps everybody. Adolf's truth, American descendant of slavery, truth trumps everybody. And that's why they don't want you to speak your truth. Because once your truth has been spoken, it's hands down that you should be the one made whole in this country, and not they. But if you sit back and deny your truth for their lie, they get taken care of, and your family and your group get left out to starve. I'm reading something somebody L. Willie say, our children are still wearing our slave masters' names. Very true. That's very, very true. Still wearing our slave master name. Now, Will, I agree with you 100%. But it's a benefit to that. It's a benefit to that. That benefit is that definitely proves you owe reparations. See, you right. My name is William Dickens, straight off the Dickens plantation. Sure is. And I need my check. My kids need their check. It's very true. That's another thing that kills me in the conversation. When you get other ADOS people trying to defend white supremacy by saying, who reparations go to? Who reparations go to then? I mean, if you owe reparations, who reparations go to then? Wait a minute. Who reparations go to? What's your name? A lot of times, that's a simple question to ask. What's your name? Yet, nobody throws it out. That's the first thing you can start with. What's your name? See? Because you know, if I still had my native tongue, that I don't know what it was. Let's be clear. I don't know what it was. be clear. My name wouldn't be William Dickens. See, what they did to us, they ain't doing it to the immigrants. There are a lot of immigrants that come here, they still can speak their native tongue. They know exactly who they are. We don't even find that offensive. Matter of fact, let's go further. They forcing us to learn their language. See, you're going to have to know their language when we were forced to learn English. They are more free than we are. Yet we don't understand it. I go back to the dog. I go back to the dog. Even the dog will smell the kool-aid before drinking it. Will ADOS ever be able to teach our people to do the same? Will we ever be able to teach our people to do the same? The dog know to do it. He trusts his nose. Will we ever trust ours? Or will we just cut it off despite our own face? We go, I guess I'll take some calls. I'll take some calls in. See, anybody have something they want to say? You can call in. I'll give you the number. The number gonna be 315-888-6356. 351-888-6356. We'll take some call-ins. See if anybody got anything they would like to touch on or speak about. We'll the main thing we want to do is we want to give our people a voice, man. That's what we here for. We here to try to give our people a voice. And if we can do that, we feel we done our job. I mean, because that is our job. Hold on, I'm going into it. I'm setting up the phone line, so just give me a minute.
You are the only participant in the conference.
Gotta get back over there. Hold on. I'm trying to open up the line. I'll let this run for a minute. Here we go.
You are the only participant in the conference.
I'm gonna take some calls if anybody want to call in. see if I get anybody to call in. Um, we taking some call ins. Anybody who want to call in can call in. We take some call ins if anybody want to call in. Get Leroy. Leroy. Which number you got? Okay, I'll be looking. Okay. We're gonna have Leroy waiting for a caller to come in. He gonna touch a little bit on what's going on in Rocky Mountain.
Hello, Mr. Dickens.
Yes, we got Leroy here with
Hello,
us.
this is
Go ahead,
Willie,
Leroy. You
Rocky
go.
Mount.
Okay, we got Leroy here with us.
I want to
Leroy,
touch bases with you on your podcast tonight.
that's what I'm talking about.
You've really been on fire and you covered a lot of issues that my family and I talk about all the time. Um, as you can see that in the chat.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
Can you hear me,
yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Leroy. You can hear me?
Mr. Dickens?
Yeah, can you hear me, Leroy? Leroy.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? I hear you. Leroy, you hear me? Leroy, you hear me?
Yeah, not
You,
coming through.
Leroy.
Let's see what he says.
Leroy, can you hear me?
Hello, Mr. Dickens?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah,
Can you hear me
Leroy.
now?
Yeah, I hear you. You don't hear me. Leroy, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, Mr. Dickens, I'm here.
Yeah, I don't think. Let's see here.
I'm not able to hear you as well,
Okay, hold on just a
but
minute.
just want to touch bases on the fact that you covered a lot of topics that
Can you hear me now, Leroy?
me here.
Yeah, Leroy, can you hear me now? I think I'm having what the world? Why ain't? Leroy, can you hear me now? Hello, Leroy. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? I don't know why it's acting that
Can
way.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Chris. I don't know why it ain't. I don't know. I don't know why it ain't. Hold on.
It's not working. I can't hear anything. It's not working.
I hear you. I hear you. Okay.
I don't hear
All participants are unmuted.
Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me, Chris?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't think you can hear me.
I can't hear anything.
Uh, okay, okay. I don't think Chris and them can hear me. Um, I think something going on. Let me try to hang up and get him a call back. Hold on.
No. No, I can't hear anything.
I'm gonna hang up on him. Hold on just a minute. We're gonna try to call them back. Can we get up on here again?
Hello?
Can you hear me now, Chris? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, well, I ain't saying nothing. Hello? No, record shit.
Goodbye.
I couldn't get my call is having some issues with it. Um, we won't waste no more time on. Maybe the next time we'll be able to get some callers in. Something going on with my call. Um, but it will. We are definitely. It's definitely something going on with my line. So we couldn't get that to work. It was bringing in calls, but they couldn't hear me. I could hear them. So, but we'll get it. We'll get it work the next time. I don't know why that happened. It's been doing fine, but anyway, um, I was gonna read a couple more comments in the chat. We got the Ten Commandments in one hand, politic dealing in the other hand in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. That's a that's the truth right there. There's a lot going on. Um, we we are we would definitely be here again next Sunday. We like I said before, if you're on here, subscribe, like, share. You know, we gonna keep right on working this thing till we get it professional. We gonna work it long enough till we get it professional, and as we work out the kinks, it'll get smoother. Um, we will. I'm trying to see something right here. We are we'll be back next Sunday. Um, be looking for my the show. It'll be every Sunday at 8:30. We gonna try to bring local information in. Once again, it's Rocky Mount ADOS, Triangle ADOS, Twin City ADOS. We doing the work. We trying to get more people involved. We trying to get more members. Um, we need soldiers in this fight. Don't tell me you a soldier and not in the fight. Help us. We need the right soldiers. As with every war, you need the right soldier. You just don't want a soldier. You want the right ones for the battle ahead. We um it's one thing I definitely want to touch on is that when we start, one thing I want to pay attention to is definitely pay attention to this immigration thing. One thing I was about to forget about too. Durham passed a reparation bill. We ain't we ain't had time to dig in it and check it all out, but hopefully by next Sunday we be done did the work, and we gonna go through that bill and see the root, the guts of that bill. Now, I always try to tell people reparation may used to be an illusion, but it's becoming very, very possible the reparations will happen because of the push of ADOS. If you think it still is impossible, you're not following. I advise everybody on this call, anybody listening tonight, to start pulling up reparation and see the historical thing that is going on with the reparation discussion. So what we are talking about, it ain't hard and it ain't impossible no more. I was in a meeting and the people said reparations is too big. I said, well, you ain't paying attention. Because everywhere, every county, every state is talking about reparations. And if we here ain't talking about reparations, we the ones ain't keeping up with what's going on. But that's another problem when you get people in these spaces and you got the buddy buddy system going on. See, most of the time I'm in the space where's a lot of buddy going on. I ain't the buddy in the group. So I come with not only a different conversation, a different strategy. I come in the midst of people that I'm an outsider. So, but it's fine because that's never has stopped my ADOS descendants that came before me, and it won't stop me neither. So, um, Durham has passed the bill. We gonna gut that bill. We gonna read through it, and hopefully next Sunday when I come on, we can I can have that bill broke down for you. We can go through the guts of it, the good and bad of it. Cause we know for a fact, if one thing ain't for sure, is that it's gonna be some bad with it. But that's why ADOS is here. That's why ADOS is needed. Um, it's it's definitely it is a battle for resources, and we need to understand that clearly. Cause you've been in a lot of spaces, and I think a lot of these spaces just want somebody to talk nicely to them, and that ain't what ADOS here for. I mean, respect is one thing, but letting you think that my group gonna continue to be starved out for your comfortability, that ain't happening no more. That's we done with that. We done with it. Um, letting you be comfortable, we done with it. We getting in these spaces, and we bringing the data. We bringing the history. We bringing understanding to what lineage really mean, and it ain't pigment and skin. These are the things we're doing. We fight the mental chain that this country done put us in. They took us out of physical chains. They put us in mental chains. That's why we having the hardest battle. This is the hardest battle that American descendants of slavery have ever faced. And white supremacy knew what they were doing when they started this war. They knew when they started playing the mind games, it was a powerful game to play. See, Henry Ford said it. He who controls the communication controls the minds of millions. And this is still true to this day. So this makes the battle 10 times as hard as when we was in physical slavery, being in a mental slavery. Because understand, I get people to say all the time, it's more than one way to fight. They love to use that, oh, your way ain't the only way. It's more than one way to fight. But I always try to tell people, what you saying is not, it's only two things that fixes us right now. Reparations, black agenda policies that comes with people enforcing these policies. Not just policies with no enforcement. We need policies that come with enforcement of these policies. Let me make that clear. Because without that, we still end up in a bad situation. We got one thing we're working on is about black businesses. We know I told somebody the other day, I don't want to hear nothing about no black business without no ADOS politicians, no policies that go with it. Because if your business ain't got no policies that's protecting it and you ADOS, you're going to stay starved out. You're going to stay starved out, like it or not. So if your business, your black business that you want to call it, don't align with ADOS policies, it's definitely like shooting yourself in the foot. And if you don't understand it, keep watching this show, and I will connect the dots for you. Because that's what we here for. We here to connect these dots, how policies and black business are tied together. It ain't no running from it. If you talking to somebody doing black business and talking about they don't care about politics, they don't care about black business neither. Just believe that. So, I'm gonna bring the show to an end. I hope to see everybody here again next Sunday, same time, 8:30. I was glad everybody that tuned in. Like I said before, subscribe, like the show, and we will be back here next Sunday, 8:30 on the dot. You can reach out to us by email. Our email address will if anybody want to know more information, you can get that Um, we here for our people. We here doing the fight. And we will break these mental chains one way or another, because we won't stop neither. As long as white supremacy gonna pound us, we gonna push back and pound back. So, love all my ADOS family. Y'all stay focused. Keep the line moving forward. Stay strong, stay focused, and keep the line moving forward. ADOS. Good night.